Welcome to Aptitude for Placements, and my name is Ranjit. I have conducted this aptitude training program at various engineering colleges all over India, and every year thousands of students get placed by attending this aptitude training program. Here you will find all the questions that are commonly encountered in most of the aptitude tests. These are the questions that keep on repeating in many of these tests. So just familiarize yourself with all these questions and you will have a clear advantage when you attempt your actual placement test. Let's start. A man can row at 6 kilometers per hour in still water. So we'll just write down all the data here. Speed of the boat in still water is 6 kilometers per hour. So B is equal to 6. It takes him twice as long to row up as row down the river. Find the speed of the stream in kilometers per hour. Now when he is going upstream, his effective velocity is b minus r, and when he is downstreaming, his effective velocity is b plus r. Now what is said is that it takes him twice as long to row up. So when he is upstreaming, he takes twice the time taken while he is downstreaming. So when his effective velocity is b minus r, he'll take twice the time, which means that when he is upstreaming, his speed is only half that of downstreaming. So the speed while upstreaming is half that of downstreaming. That is why he takes twice the time. So speed while he is upstreaming is b minus r. This is equal to half that of downstreaming, that is b plus r. So we'll just solve it. I'll just bring 2 to this side. So 2b minus 2r is equal to b plus r. I'll just bring b to this side, so you'll get b is equal to 3r. Now here you have b is equal to 6. So 6 is equal to 3r. So r you will get it as 2 kilometers per hour. That is r. That is the speed of the river. Find the speed of the stream, that is 2 kilometers per hour, option B. A man can row at 12 kilometers per hour in still water. We'll just write down here, speed of the boat in still water is 12. So B is equal to 12. It takes him thrice as long to row up as row down the river. Now when he is rowing up the river, his effective velocity is B minus R. This is upstreaming. Upstreaming effective velocity B minus R. And when he is downstreaming, then the effective velocity is b plus r. Now what is said is that it takes him thrice as long to row up as row down the river. So when he is upstreaming, he'll take 3 times the time, which means that his upstream speed will be 1/3 that of downstream speed. That is why he takes 3 times the time. So his upstreaming speed, that is 1/3 that of this. So b minus r, this speed is 1/3 that of downstreaming, that is b plus r. So we'll just solve this. 3b minus 3r is equal to b plus r. I'll just write it down here. I'll just bring b to this side. So you'll get 2b is equal to 3r to this side, that will be 4r, or b is equal to 2r. Now we know b is equal to 12. So 12 is equal to 2r, or r is equal to 6. R is the speed of the river, that is 6 kilometers per hour, option A. Ports A, B and C are located on a river such that B is equidistant from A and C. A boat goes from C to B and back in 5 hours 15 minutes. Later the same boat goes from C to A in 7 hours. How long will it take to go from A to C if the river flows from A to C? So here it is mentioned the river flows from A to C. So I can draw the river like this. A should be at the top and C should be at the bottom, because river always flows down. River flows from A to C. So A should be at the top, C should be at the bottom. Also, it is mentioned that B is equidistant from A and C, which means that B should be at the middle. So you can draw the river like this and the river flows down. Now you cannot draw the river like this, because as you know, the river always flows down. It never goes up. It can never go up. So this figure is not possible. It can only be drawn like this because the river always flows down. Now this question, it can be worked out using the formulas, but better still, it can be worked out by marking the time taken on the river directly, and we'll get the answer. A boat goes from C to B and back in 5 hours 15 minutes. So it goes from C to B upstream and back. So initially it goes up and back, and the total time is 5 hours 15 minutes. Later, the same boat goes from C to A in 7 hours. It goes from C to A upstream. Altogether, it takes 7 hours. Now, we know that B is the midpoint. So, C to B must be 3.5 hours. B to A must be 3.5 hours. Altogether, 7 hours. Now, the question is, how long will it take to go from A to C? That is, if the boat were to go from A to C, what will be the time required? Now, using these two informations, C to A is total 7 hours. B to C is half the distance. B to A is half the distance. So, this must be 3.5 hours. This must be 3.5 hours. So, C to B upstream is 3.5 hours. So, here also, this C to B upstream should be 3.5 hours. And the remaining time, if you add the remaining time, it should add up to 5 hours 15 minutes. That is, it goes from C to B upstream and back. Total time 5 hours 15 minutes. 3.5 hours plus 1 hour 45 minutes. That will add up to 5 hours 15 minutes. 3.5 hours plus 1 hour 45 minutes is 5 hours 15 minutes. So B to C downstream has to be 1 hour 45 minutes. So B to C downstream is 1 hour 45 minutes. A to C downstream will be double the distance. So double the time. Double of 1 hour 45 minutes is 2 into 1 hour 45 minutes. That you will get it as 3.5 hours. So if the boat were to go from A to C, it will require altogether 3.5 hours. That is option D. Ports A, B and C are located on a river such that B is equidistant from A and C. A boat goes from C to B and back in 4 hours. Later it goes from C to A in 6 hours. How long will it take to go from A to C if the river flows from A to C? Now the river flows from A to C. So we can draw the river like this. And the river flows from A to C. So A should be at the top and C should be at the bottom. Also it is mentioned B is equidistant from A and C, which means that B has to be here. And as you know, the river always flows down. Now we cannot draw the river like this, because in this case you can see that the river is going up. That is not possible. River always flows down, so it cannot be drawn like this. It can only be drawn like this. Now we'll mark all the time taken on the river and directly we'll get the answer. A boat goes from C to B and back in 4 hours. It goes from C to B and back. Initially it goes from C to B upstream and back. Altogether it takes 4 hours. Later it goes from C to A in 6 hours. It goes from C to A. Total time required is 6 hours. Now we know that B is the midpoint. So C to B should be 3 hours and B to A should be 3 hours. So altogether it will add up to 6 hours. Now if you combine both this information, we know that C to B upstream, this is 3 hours, this is 3 hours. Also it is said that the boat went from C to B upstream and back, altogether 4 hours. From this information we know C to B is 3 hours. 3 hours plus return journey has to be 1 hour, because 3 hours plus 1 is equal to 4 hours. So altogether 4 hours. So return journey has to be 1 hour. So 3 hours for upstreaming and 1 hour for downstreaming. So B to C downstream is 1 hour. Now A to C will be double the distance because B is the midpoint. B to C is 1 hour, so A to C is double the distance. So double of 1 hour, you will get it as 2 hours. So if the boat were to go from A to C, it will require 2 hours. That is option A. Let me briefly explain how to prepare for your aptitude test. First of all, you need to familiarize yourself with all the questions that have been worked out here. These are the questions that keep on repeating in many of the aptitude tests. After that, you need to attempt practice tests. According to me, you need to attempt at least 10 practice tests before your actual placement test. Here, I will be giving you 10 practice tests, and these practice tests will be ideal for you to improve your test scores. The 10 practice tests are available at a cost of only rupees 200. So all that you need to do is make a payment of rupees 200 either through Google Pay or through PhonePe or through Paytm, and you will receive the 10 practice tests. The details of the payment comes next.